Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something really cool. We are tracing one of the most fascinating tactical timelines in all of sports history together. We're going to look at the evolution of two absolutely legendary football clubs, Celtic and Inter Milan. We'll be starting from their monumental, world-shifting clash back in 1967 and following that thread all the way to the current 2025-2026 season. We're going to see exactly how tactics, philosophies, and club DNA adapt, survive, and, sometimes completely flip upside down.
Okay, let's dive into this, because there is a massive myth surrounding the 1967 European Cup final. The popular legend? It says the match was just 90 minutes of this unstoppable green tsunami washing over a defensive Italian wall. But the reality is actually so much better. It was a brilliant, shifting, high-stakes tactical battle between two absolute masterminds. It was a single match that literally proved rigid defensive structures could be broken.
To really understand why this matters, we have to look at these two warring philosophies. On one side, you had Helenio Herrera's Inter Milan playing Catenaccio. This system was the ultimate defensive machine. Highly structured, deeply reactive, and built to win by the absolute slimmest of margins. On the other side, you had Jock Stein's Celtic playing what was known as jungle football. This was an aggressive, chaotic, and relentlessly proactive attacking style. It was the classic, irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
Section 1. The 1967 Chess Match.
Let's break down exactly how this chess match unfolded in Lisbon, because it actually played out in three distinct acts. The first 30 minutes, well, that was the predictable storm. Celtic flew out of the traps, but Inter absorbed it beautifully, taking an early 1-0 lead through a Sandro Massola penalty. That was Catenaccio working perfectly. But then, right at the 30-minute mark, Herrera made a total genius adjustment. He had his playmaker, Luis Suarez, drop deep into the pockets of space created by Celtic's high line. Suddenly, Inter had total control of the tempo. For a brief, terrifying window, it really looked like the defensive masters had figured Celtic out. But then, Jock Stein initiated a devastating tactical countermove for the final 30 minutes.
Section 2. Breaking the Italian Bolt.
So, let's look at exactly how Jock Stein solved the puzzle Herrera presented. He didn't make a safe, conservative change. No way. He doubled down on the chaos. He initiated what we call the overload. He pushed his fullbacks, Tommy Gemmell and Jim Craig, incredibly high up the pitch, way further than any fullbacks in Europe dared to go at the time. This brilliantly forced Inter's wide midfielders to drop back and basically act as makeshift defenders. It completely suffocated Inter's ability to counterattack and turn the match into a vertical siege. Gemmell, the right back who is positioned practically inside Inter's penalty area, hammered home the equalizer, and Stevie Chalmers eventually scored the winner.
And this brilliantly illustrates that dominance. 39. That is the astonishing number of corners Celtic forced in that match. Just think about that for a second. That's insane. They essentially trapped the greatest defensive team in the world inside their own penalty box, turning the pitch into a tilted plane until Inter simply collapsed under the pressure.
Section 3. Celtic's modern midfield flaws.
Now, let's fast forward from that historic night in Lisbon to the 2025/2026 season. How does Celtic's modern tactical identity hold up? Well, it faces a brand new set of challenges. If Jock Stein's Celtic was defined by relentless forward momentum, the modern Celtic has recently shown some surprising risk aversion. Look at these passing metrics from their recent 1-0 win against St. Mirren. Captain Callum McGregor attempted 37 passes, but only 9 went forward. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain completed just 2 forward passes out of 19. 2. Literally just 2. Benjamin Nygren, only 9 forward passes out of 28. Analysts have noted this midfield really lacks physical presence and struggles to break down possession-heavy teams, often relying heavily on safe, sideways distribution rather than the aggressive verticality of their past.
Section 4. The Late Goal Kings.
But hey, before you think Celtic has entirely lost their legendary DNA, let's shift our focus to an incredible modern phenomenon that totally echoes 1967. 13. That is the staggering number of goals Celtic has scored from the 86th minute onward in the 2025-26 season. Despite all their midfield struggles, that relentless, never-say-die mentality of the Lisbon Lions still courses through their veins today. They have kept their title hopes alive against teams like Hearts and St. Mirren through sheer, undeniable willpower and some crazy late-game heroics.
And right at the absolute tip of that spear is Dyson Maeda. He is carrying the attack with 7 goals and an incredible 50% hit rate in his appearances. He completely embodies the chaotic, high-energy pressing that defines Celtic's most dangerous moments today.
When the structured buildup fails, it's that raw, proactive energy that saves them every time.
Section 5. Inter's new tactical era.
Meanwhile, let's pivot back across Europe. Because in the modern day, Inter Milan has completely reversed their historical identity. And the catalyst for this change? Brutal. Following a devastating 5-0 Champions League final defeat to PSG, a game that basically exposed all their defensive vulnerabilities, Simone Inzaghi departed. Enter Christian Chivu. He immediately shifted the team from a 3-5-2 into a highly aggressive, attacking 3-4-2-1. Enter abandoned the ghost of Catenaccio once and for all and embraced dynamic, vertical, high-tempo football.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how perfectly Chivo's new system was executed in their thrilling 4-3 Champions League semifinal victory over Barcelona. Look at these steps. First, a relentless man-to-man high block with players like Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez absolutely suffocating the center backs. Second, forcing rapid turnovers like Henrik Mkhitaryan cutting off Frenkie de Jong. And finally, vertical counterattacks leading directly to goals. Inter won that match not with a low block, but by being the most proactive, aggressive team on the pitch.
Section 6. The evolution of tactics. So let's bring this narrative full circle and connect the dots between 1967 and today's tactical landscape. Right after that 1967 final, a Portuguese official said, "This attacking play, this is the real meaning of football. This is the true game." Celtic's victory wasn't just a win for a Scottish club. It was an ideological victory that rippled through history. Jock Stein proved that high-intensity, attacking pressure could shatter the ultimate defensive system. And in a beautiful twist of fate, the very club they defeated in 1967, Inter Milan, is now utilizing those exact same high-pressing, vertical principles under Christian Chivu to find success today.
Which leaves us with this final thought. When you watch the dynamic, rapid turnover football of 2026, you really have to wonder, would the high-pressing, chaotic modern game even exist if Celtic hadn't violently broken the lock of Catenaccio all those years ago? It's a great reminder that every tactical innovation we see today is just the latest move in a giant chess match that's been playing out for decades. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope you walk away seeing the beautiful game just a little bit differently.